It's another beautiful afternoon, and we're glad to come your way again with the Homeowners Show. How many of you have really been following events here? And we've been talking about very important issues regarding this space, the building construction space, and of course, the way or ways to own your own home. There's nothing more than having your own home and having a roof over your head. It clears a lot of problems, doesn't it? But we're glad to come your way as we do every Sunday right here on Metro TV. It's the Homeowner Show. My name is Michael Katahena, and as usual, for the next hour or so, we're going to be talking about anything, an aspect of this particular space, and then we'll be doing justice to the questions that you send in via WhatsApp or calls when we do open the lines much later on in the program. But I'm glad that you've joined me. We're going to go for our very first break. When we come back, I introduce my guests and the topic for this afternoon. Now, the Homeowners Show is proudly brought to you by the First National Bank of Ghana and CBC Properties. We'll be right back. Welcome back from the break. The Homeowners Show is proudly brought to you by First National Bank Ghana and supported by CBC Properties. Now, last year, First National Bank helped many Ghanaians to become homeowners through the year of home ownership. That's the YOHO initiative. Now, this year, they are making it easier for you to build that property to your taste or complete the housing project you started. Through the Build Up 2022 initiative, everyone who applies for a home construction loan gets up to 1.5% discount on your interest rate. Now, don't miss out on Build Up 2022. Speak to First National Bank's experienced team of home loan consultants today to discover more help. You can call us on 0242 435 050 or 0800 770 522 to get started. First National Bank, how can we help you? Now, are you a homeowner who requires financial assistance to meet other pressing needs? Well, First National Bank can help you unlock the value in your house by releasing equity in your property to finance your business, fund your child's education abroad, or any other need. You can speak to First National Bank's experienced team of home loan consultants today to discover more help. You can call them on 0242 435 050 or 0800 770 522 to get started. First National Bank, how can we help you? Now, CBC Properties Limited says I should ask you why you have to buy a piece of land now. Well, as Anthony Troll put it, and I quote, because land provides the highest returns, the greatest values, the least risks, and of course, it is the only thing that cannot fly away. Now is the best time to own a land in Oyarifa, Pram, East Legon Hills, Adenta, Amanfro, Shire Hills, Aimensa, and so on. Call CBC Properties to schedule for a free site visit on 0303 935 313 or 0262 898 686. Website www.cbcghanalimited.com, and you can follow CBC Properties on social media at CBC Ghana Limited on Facebook and Twitter at CBC Ghana, on IG at CBC Properties on YouTube. Well, thanks for joining us, and this afternoon, guess what? We're talking about a very sticky topic. It's about land acquisition. The land acquisition processes in Ghana, and you and I know that it's not a very pleasant one, and loads of people have very unpleasant stories to tell. Well, joining us this afternoon to talk about this particular issue is the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of CBC Properties, and he's in the person of Mr. Chris Ni Abose to my extreme left. He's looking resplendent in the white outfit this beautiful Sunday afternoon. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So we are very happy to have you here this afternoon. And he's also ably supported by Madam Angela Teria, the Operations Manager for CBC Properties. Madam, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we seem to be in the same spirit because you're wearing the same colors, right?
Yes.
All right. So you're both welcome, and we just go straight ahead into this particular story. I mean, I'm sure I wonder if there's anyone around who hasn't got a story about land acquisition and fights over here and there. But if I can ask you why, I mean, I'm sure this question probably, your answer to this question could probably roll for about an hour. But I just want you to give a bit of a background to this particular problem. Why do we have such unpleasant stories about land acquisition in Ghana? Not too many people have good stories to tell when it comes to buying land in this country.
So thank you, and you know, it's always good to have you on one of our discussions. You go into the skeletons and bring out, you know, all the beef out. What I would say is two things: management, which has to do with, you know, administration of the land, you know, space itself, and the other part is trust issues. But when the management of it has to also do with people who are buying. How sure are you what you are getting is the right, you know, land? And it has to do with searches, land commission, checking social, you know, planning, you know, authority, checking everything to make sure that what you are buying is not a problem or a challenge-prone, you know, transaction. Usually people just, you know, wake up, go and see a land, and then you're making a transaction. But it has to go a bit deep. Documentation, and then also making sure that the person that you are dealing with is the right person.
Yes.
So that's the challenge that has been. And one thing I forgot: people don't like to add a lawyer in the transactions of this. Yeah, that's the whole background of this.
Never thought about that.
Yes.
I mean, in my quest to get lands, I mean, several attempts, I've never involved the lawyer because I've never seen the need.
That's a challenge. So the lawyer is trained or is brought into a transaction to look out for all the loopholes. His job is to make sure the transaction starts from the get-go to finish without having any issues or any opportunities to even go to court. So in Ghana, we are a bit, you know, not too close to our lawyers, but out there, you know, if you should travel, UK, US, any transaction has to have a solicitor in it, whether you like it or not. It's a agreed principle.
Yeah.
But here, because of the laxity of it, you either go and get someone, a friend's friend who is either, you know, a broker or an agent, or, you know, somebody who has done it before. But you need a legal mind to get this done. That's what's brought all the problems. If lawyers were involved in land transactions, I'm not sure we'll be where we are today. Yes.
We'll be going into another aspect of this particular thing. I mean, but probably as we're still taking a walk through the land acquisition processes, I mean, let me come to you, Madam Angela. I mean, you would probably want to take us through a few steps when it comes to land acquisition. I mean, Mr. Bose has just given us an outline and the importance of having a lawyer. I mean, that never occurred to me. I mean, the way we go about buying land and property in this country, we never really consult lawyers to do that. But can you walk us through a few basic or important steps when it comes to land acquisition?
Thank you very much. So, as my boss clearly started, it's always good to have a solicitor to aid you do this. But from the very first point to begin, it's always good to come through a broker. And CBC, that's what we also do. So before you should call in that, okay, I'm interested to buy a land, I believe in your mind you know which locations you're actually looking out for. We all have our personal interests. So there are some locations I would say, oh, I wouldn't want to be here, I wouldn't want to be there. So we always ask you, what are your preferred locations you would want to purchase your land? So you tell us where you're interested. Otherwise, when you call us, we'll tell you the areas where we have our land. So, okay, then we'll tell you, out of the lots, we're able to show you about 3. Then we don't want to put too much burden on you so that it becomes very difficult to select your preferred location. So we're able to see about 3 locations with you. Then when you see it, you decide, okay, out of the lots, this is what I'm actually interested in, and this is what I want to go on with. Right, so the first stage is to see the land. Right, okay, after seeing the land, then the next thing you have to do is you have to run a search. There are cases where running a search, you come to me, I tell you, okay, this location is available, then you say, right, give me a site plan. I can give you a site plan which is not the same as where the exact location where we saw. So what we advise is, even before you come to CBC as a brokerage firm, we have done all the processes, we have done everything. So we make sure we've picked the land, there's a search, we have everything on our table. But we'll also tell you, get your surveyor, let your surveyor pick the points of the land. When you get your surveyor and the surveyor picks the point of the land, then you run a search. What we advise is, we tell you should run an official search. The official search will give you the history to make sure the land you're going to purchase is not registered or it doesn't have a document, it has a document in someone else's name. There's a need you run a search, an official one indeed. So usually official searches will take about 2 weeks. So after the 2 weeks, you are satisfied with your search results, you are sure there are no double registration, everything is okay, then you come to us. When you come to us, we'll sign a sale and purchase agreement with you. So after it means you're making a commitment, you're very sure this is what you like, you make your payments, usually it's about 50%. Okay. Then we have something we say, you have to test the land. Anyone at all who's buying a land will say, okay, I don't want a litigation, I want a litigation-free land, but how sure are you? You've done all that processes. Now, the next thing is to test the land. Testing the land is get on the land, start doing something. When you start digging around, someone will definitely come to you. Are you the owner? Mm-hmm. Are you this? So that you are able to tell if there's litigation on the land. If it's free from all those, then it means you're good to go. You come, we give your indentures. Some customers feel reluctant. After receiving your indentures, they leave it over years and they're not registering it. So what we advise is, after you receive your indentures as well, register the land. Go on and register it up to the title certificates, then you know you're comfortable with it.
Mm. You know, how many times haven't we heard people say that, look, I ran a search and you still have this multiple, how do you call it, in multiple names, I mean multiple registration. What really must one do to overcome this? I mean, it's pretty frustrating. I mean, I come to you as a broker and you have done your part, and so you ask me to go run a further search at the Lands Commission. But there are so many cases where you go and you still have that, or you probably might not realize that at that stage, you probably go test the land as she's saying, and then at a certain point somebody comes in with similar documents to say that I own this. How do you overcome this? Is there a particular thing in the process that we miss most of the time that leads to this? Or it's just probably incompetence on the part of someone? I don't know.
So there's a new act. In fact, we're part of the drafting the bill, the Land Act 2020. And it's coming to try and solve all of these problems. I think it's just 2 years old, so we have not seen, you know, the effect of it as much. But as it flows, I'm sure you see the teeth of it. In running a search, there are 3 departments in Land Commission.
Okay.
There's a PVLMD, which we know as Land Commission, Old Land Commission. There's Survey and Mapping Division. Then there's LRD, Land Title Division. Now, in those days, just about some few months ago, Land Commission brought up the option where you can get a full search with all the 3 departments on the same search you are running. At first, it used to be done separately. So you go to PVLMD, you go to Survey, you go to Land Title before you can get an understanding of where or what has gone, you know, as transactions on the land. Now, we have the composite or consolidated, you know, search result now. Who has the highest interest here? The one who owns the land title. So the person who has a land title should be the one you're dealing with. Sometimes, because of the earlier transactions, you may have PVLMD 2 or 3 names coming up. But the Land Commission goes through a process to give one person a title.
Okay.
In fact, title is only conferred on one entity or one individual at a time. I know there are stories where people have had 2 titles, but it's hardly 1%.
Really?
Yes, it's 1% of the lot. It was brought to streamline, certain, issues as this. So the title holder is the supreme owner of the land, and he or she should be the person you're dealing with. If you have done the search and you can see the title holder or the person who has plotted the land, that's the entity you're supposed to deal with. That's all. Apart from that, like I said, if you find, and that's a copy of a land title, on your screen. If you have a land title showing that this is the person you are dealing with, that's all. But then the legal mind or the lawyer that we always miss out is the one who is supposed to help get you this. So it's called due diligence. And in some part of law, it's caveat emptor, buyer beware. Because it's your job as the buyer to check everything before even, put money down.
I mean, it's interesting that you're saying this, but you would agree with me that a lot of prospective land owners or buyers do not have an idea about this process. I mean, they're virtually green. You just want to own something.
That's why you need a lawyer.
So do you need lawyers who are specialized in a particular area of this business, or any general lawyer can really attend to your needs?
A very technical question. We have lawyers who do general practice and do everything. Then we have lawyers who are specialized in land law. So sometimes I would say go for somebody who's done this over and over again. Experience is not something you can buy. So get someone who is a land lawyer or a general practitioner who has done this for a lot of times. There's no list of lawyers who you can say, this person is into lands or that is to divorce. It's not. I don't think lawyers are allowed to even do adverts in Ghana yet. So you have to go through someone who has either used that person before, or if you come to us, we have recommended solicitors that we recommend to you. So if you want to use them, that's fine. But we have our own lawyers. So it'll be your lawyer against our lawyer. It makes the transaction a bit more easier on our side.
Okay.
Yes.
Madam Angela, just before I come to you, I just want you to round up on this, and Chris, how would you, with all these at the back of our minds, how would you convince someone who has been swindled, severally, time and time again when it comes to land acquisition, to really buy a land? Let's say from CBC Properties, what can you do to assuage the person, to allay the person's fears that these are, or this is the process, or these are the processes which you're going through, and it is sacrosanct? You are bound to get something that is trouble-free. How would you really convince somebody to do that? Apart from what you just said.
So bluntly, I tell people when they come to my table, every land, is trouble-free until you fall into trouble. So it's our job to be your second eye. If you're using us as brokers, it's our job to make sure we are guiding you through the process. And then we also have a solicitor that will guide or help us with the transaction. But why CBC? We've been in the business for about 8 years now. I'll tell you, I've lost a lot of lands. A lot. Not plots, acres. Clients who have bought through us or
your heart is in good condition.
Yeah. Because you see, sometimes it's risk. Sometimes you get, sometimes you don't. But we've gone through this for a very long time that we know some of the red flags. Once we see them, we either pull out or we ask for more things to be done before we can go in for closure. I've lost land, Oyibi, Pram, a lot of places. So with this, we even know who to even deal with, which family to go to, which chief to deal with, which individual you should even deal with. So that is something that we can give. A friend of mine was saying that we should have an option where you have a CBC search, like all the searches that you do as well. You can come to CBC and we'll do our independent search also for you. Why? I have dealt with so many chiefs, so many lawyers, so many families that I know who to deal and not to deal with. And that is what we can put on the table. Like I said, we have refunded a lot of money to people. Why? The deal didn't go through. And we don't allow clients to lose their interest or their money. It will take a while to get your money back, but our job is to make sure you've not lost at least the capital you put in. So sometimes we even put the money down and pay off, and then go and tackle the person who made us lose that money. We are in court on certain matters that we've already paid off and now trying to get refunds from the family. So there's that option where if you will not lose your money when you come to us, that for sure. I'm not sure any client of ours can say that they've lost the deal and we didn't pay the money back to them. Our job is to make sure at least within 90 days, you get your money back. We will go and tackle that issue. But even that, before the option of refund comes in, our job is to make sure that it doesn't even start at all. So we will go through all the, and for us, most of our lands have title. So unless we are challenging our title in court or having an issue, it shouldn't come up with litigations. Okay. I'm not saying title is, like I said, is tight-leashed. Things can happen, but in that process, we try and limit it and let the risk come a bit, at least it's barest minimum for the client who is buying from us.
I'll come back to you in a bit so you elucidate or probably clarify a bit on the amendment to the law, when it comes to the acquisition of land. But coming back to you, I know that you've talked about the processes already, but I feel that it would be good for you to go through again the documents that one would need in registering a land, or to check, let's say, to check before finally paying for a piece of land, just to make sure that you're on the right course, still sticking to the process. I just want you to rehab that part again.
Very well. Okay, so the first thing you should always look out for is to get a site plan. And on that site plan, you should also get your search results. As I said from the beginning, the search results will always pull the history on the land. So after you're getting your search result, the site plan, you check the documentation, if there's a title certificate. Always make sure the name you are seeing on the title certificate is the same thing you're getting when you run your search. Because there are days some people will tell you, oh, it's my land, that's my land, this is my document. And on the search results, you're seeing otherwise. And they try pull some history, family history, someone gave it to me and all of that. When it comes to land, you shouldn't deal with word of mouth. Make sure everything that you're seeing should be on paper. So your search results should always be the same as what's on the title certificate. Then that you are very confident to be prone of litigation. Okay.
And the site plan, for example, are there any special features that one would have to probably look out for on the site plan? Yeah. I heard this thing about a normal site plan and having a barcode. I don't know. I'm very green in this thing, so probably you have to school me on that.
Right. So there's a normal site plan and there's a barcoded site plan.
Okay.
Yes, please. So you should always look out for the barcoded site plan.
Okay.
The barcoded site plan will always have the QR code, and it makes it very legit that when you run a search, you're able to tell. So you should always look out for, it has to be a barcoded site plan.
Just let me add to that.
Okay.
If you pick a land from, or you get a surveyor to pick a land to run a search, it doesn't necessarily have to be a barcode site plan.
Okay.
It's when you are going to get it registered. Now, Land Commission says that because of our Vice President's, pushing of digitization, all the processes are now digitized. So we are getting to a point where if I just pick a site plan and I look at the back, there's a QR code, I just scan it, and it will pull up all the transactions that has happened on the land and who is the current landowner that I'm dealing with. So that's what we are getting to. So that's why if you're going through the process, without a barcode, they will not even have to even do your cadastral plan for you. It's now, Greater Accra lands are only for barcodes. You can do, if you are buying land from Greater Accra region and you have a barcode, you can't do your registration.
Okay.
Yes.
Then this applies to just Greater Accra?
I think Kumasi and
how about the Eastern region?
Koforidua, I think, I'm not too sure, but I know it was a pilot, that it was rolled up. So we have to get a Land Commission person here to clarify that. I know for sure Eastern region is one of the nearest that will be rolled up. Kumasi, I know some parts are also, are ongoing. And I'm sure in the next couple of months, if Land Commission is still doing what it's doing, we should have the whole of Ghana having a barcode system where I just, get the site plan. I don't even need to go to the Land Commission. I just put my phone on it, scan it, and it should be able to pull, the information. But again, hopefully everything goes well, So we are just excited about the digitization process.
The process that's going through. So back to you, Angela. Do you have an idea how much it would cost one to register a piece of land in Ghana at the moment, currently?
Well, for you to be able to determine how much it will cost, there are some factors. So one of the factors is location, where the land is located. And the other one too is the number of plots. It may cost you much higher to register 5 plots or an acre of land than just registering 1 plot of land. So location, the number of plots, and the size as well. And if it has a barcoded site plan as well, with your search results, and the type of documents also. So these are the factors that would determine, yes, how much it costs.
Okay. Well, back to you, Chris. I mean, on the amendment of the law regarding that, I mean, I was not even aware that the law has been amended, tweaked in that regard, but it's been long overdue. How has it really streamlined the acquisition of land? Because I do not know the details of that, the provisions of that particular law, but there's still so much chaos when it comes to this. Maybe you want to take out 1 or 2 or 3 features of that law which probably make it less cumbersome to acquire a piece of land in this country as we speak. I mean, comparing it to years of old.
So, again, I'm now going to law school, so I'm not a lawyer. One of the very salient parts of this transaction is it's now a criminal act if anybody should sell land to 2 different people.
Oh, okay.
It's criminalized. You can go to court, to jail between 10 to 15 years. So if you are in the business of selling land to 2 different people, get ready for the law to catch up with you. For me, I say all the laws work in Ghana until you are in the grip of the law. You would think no law works until you are in court, with the law. So that is most important. And then even land guard activities now is criminalized as well.
Oh, okay.
If you are caught, even obstructing anybody from developing his or her land, the police can, come in and, get you to court. And you're not also getting 10 to 15 years, minimum. That's the minimum you can get. So it makes people want to rather be careful, doing some of these things. And like I said, in the whole of, it's a very big book, the Land Act. It was detailed. It goes into repeal some other ones, PNDC laws that were, already, outdated. It brought in some other aspects of the law as well. So this law, I think Land Commission needs a lot of, publicity on this. But in between that, get into the, I think, they call it Publishers House, which is on the Tudu Road.
Yes.
Ghana Publishers Assembly Press. You get a copy and read. It's easy to understand. And all the nitty-gritties of land, definition from whoever is even transacting, and even forms they have to fill. It gives you, now if I have any interest in your land and you're registering, I can caveat your registration. There's a form you have to fill, the format, everything is in there. So I think if those of us who are in the land space or land business should have a copy of the Land Act and at least, prepare yourself to whatever. It's just 2 years, it was passed 2 years ago, Land Act 2020. So it's still, in its, baby stage, but I think in the next couple of, years, it should now start, biting in its own well.
Fantastic. And if you ask me, every law is beautiful, but it's implementation, which is so important for us, especially in this country. Well, thank you very much. We're going to go for another break, and we come back, we continue with the conversations. You get your questions ready and contributions, and we'll be so happy to pass them on to our guests this afternoon. Now, the Homeowner Show is proudly brought to you by First National Bank Ghana and also supported by CBC Properties. And I've been speaking to the CEO of CBC Properties, Mr. Chris Niabose, and also supported by Madam Angela Tavia, the Operations Manager of CBC Properties. We're going to step out for a quick break. We'll be right back.
My name is Christian Nee Papo Abose. My friends call me Chris Nee. I'm the CEO of CBC Properties. Welcome to CBC Properties. I know the bane of every developer is dealing with his landowners, whether it's about family lands or store lands. And for this purpose, you need someone who is very knowledgeable and honest when doing any of these dealings. These are qualities I've come to find in Christian.
Chris is one of the trusted real estate professionals who use our site to list properties. But then he's more than just a business partner, actually. He's like a friend to me. And what I really like about him is the fact that he puts his clients first. And so I'm saying this because I know the amount of time and resources he puts into his homework.
I purchased a couple of plots from him. He's a trustworthy person and plain and fair.
It was always easy and fast at getting hold of Chris. I'll call him any time of the day and I'll get him. He'll call back if he misses my call, and he solves my problem in a very intelligent and professional manner.
He's very hardworking. He's meticulous, very detail-minded. He likes to think outside the box. You leave a work to Chris and you are sure you'll come back to meet your best. Ever since I've been working with him, I disposed a couple of properties. I did it through him, and that was done in a record time.
There has not been any hidden agenda so far. I've not been harassed by land guards as well. And to top it all, it was Chris who called me several times to come for my indenture when it was ready. You know, I've had nasty experiences before in the past, so I was really marveled when Chris called me severally to come for my document.
We have worked with him for some time now, and we will recommend him to anyone who wants to buy a land. If you want your valuations done on your land, he's the best man. If you need land title documents done for your company, I would recommend him to be the right person to do so. In the near future, if I want to buy a land again, I will go for Christian, and I recommend you to do same.
From time immemorial, buying lands and owning properties in Ghana has not been easy. Trust me, a lot of fights, a lot of litigations, and a lot of, sometimes, death. People ask me why I do what I do, or why I love what I do. It's simple. Look at this beautiful scene of nature. Don't you love it? It's that joy, that smile that I see in your face when I connect you with your land or your property that makes me happy. And I can assure you, we will make sure that happens. Not to say we are perfect, but at least our experiences and all that we have been through all this while has made us one of the best. We will make sure that is what we'll give you. And that is what will make you have a stress-free, no hassle, no problems along the way to get to your property. We hope that you join us in this journey, not just in Africa, West Africa, and even Africa beyond. See you at the top.
All right, welcome back. So you saw a short video there talking a bit about CBC Properties and, of course, the CEO and several endorsements to attest to the fact that when you deal with CBC Properties, you have nothing to really worry about. But before we continue the rest of our conversation, Chris, let me come straight to you. What do you do so differently at CBC Properties that should really put the hearts of prospective customers at ease?
It's a due diligence that we do. Most importantly, like I said, we have had challenges along the line. So we are let me say experts of some areas. For example, Pram Pram, you know, we've been there since inception, 8 years now. We know which families should deal with, which not. Oyarifa, you know, Amanfro, all the other locations that we have lands. And we go to want to deal with the owners themselves, not third parties. We've had a lot of litigation, and I'll not sit here and say it's been a perfect road. I've had to refund monies, you know. We've had to go, sometimes we even have to end up in court. We've had to settle with clients because for them, you were leading them. They need their land, and you weren't able to deliver. So we have done this and learnt our lessons, and that makes us special.
Fantastic. Well, a few questions I have for you, Madam Angela, but the questions started flying in from viewers already. Now, there's this lengthy one here. I just, okay, it's quite lengthy, but let me try to summarize everything. Now, this person obviously is very much into the discussion we have, and he says currently facing a challenge regarding the land he acquired. Now, the land sold to him by some chiefs is sharing a boundary with another. The person he's sharing the boundary with also has her own cadastre and indenture just as his. Now, this is the pending problem they have. Now, when we both decided to really put up polls to sort out the identity of the exact portions of our land by the help of a surveyor, both lands or pieces of land interlocked. Now, what he means is that the junk portion, I don't know what he means by that, of my land is part of the neighbor who he's sharing the boundary with. Now, his question is, by this, whom are we to hold accountable for this? And again, is it not like the chiefs sold the land to one piece of land to two different people? I don't know whether they can really help with that. Yes.
So this has to do with a surveyor's work.
Okay.
So that's why I have to deal with even licensed surveyors. Most of it
Licensed
licensed,
surveyors.
yes.
Okay.
Because it's their job to make sure that whatever land they've picked or dealt with shouldn't be given to another person. I've had issues where I have to, sort people out because my surveyor made a mistake. Yes, because the same land and to the next person. So we had to move the person to the next plot or away. And that is the surveyor's problem. But if it comes to the landowner, and that's why I'm saying that the Land Act now makes it criminal for anybody you are buying land from to sell to two different people.
Okay.
This ends up in police station, and I'm sure the owner will be in some hot waters.
Okay. Where do you currently, Angela, before we go to the other questions that viewers have started firing at us, where do you currently have lands available right now? And there's a particular interest in East Legon Hills. How much it will cost?
Okay, very well. Okay, so with our current land locations, we have Ayikuma Agomeda, which is going for 10,000 Ghana cedis. There's Shine Hills, which is 15,000 Ghana cedis per plot. There's Dodoa Sebi, 20,000 Ghana cedis. There's Adenta Manfro, 150,000 Ghana cedis. There's Oyarifa, which is 150,000 Ghana cedis. There's East Legon Hills, which is 40,000
US dollars.
US dollars per plot, actually. In Ghana cedis, you get in 250,000 Ghana cedis. Yes. So these are our current land locations that you can get.
Okay, so for the one who asked about the East Legon Hills, I'm sure your question is answered. I'm not going to add anything to that. I don't know why there's special interest in the East Legon Hills, but hey, your question has been answered. Well, another, I don't know whether it's a contribution or a question. This from Joseph Martin. He says, I'm interested in your discussion. Please, my question is, I have bought a piece of land. Where do I go to register the land, and what is the procedure? Oh, I think that we've gone through that, but if you want to briefly probably go through that again, Chris, Angela? Yes.
Right, so Land Commission is the only, state institution that is allowed to do registrations. And like I said, people have indentures and they think it's land title. It's not. If you get an indenture from the landowner, that's not the end of it. And as she mentioned it says when you are done with everything, take your indenture to Land Commission and take it through the process to get your land title. It's like buying a car. I can buy a car from you and you give me your documents, but it doesn't mean that it's my name. I have to go to that registry to change it into my name. If not, I'm driving and the police stop me and it's not my name. They can say I've stolen the car. So it's the same with lands. Go to Land Commission, get it done at the Land Commission, which is PVLMD, get it done at Survey and Mapping Division, which is the plotting stage, and then land title, which is LRD, Land Title Registry, that will get you a land title certificate that tells the whole world that this land is for you and no other person. And it's even good so that if anything happens, assuming there's a compensation has to be paid by government, assuming your land is being taken by a road or something, the government would have to pay more for giving you a land title and still coming back for the land. And in terms of all this compensation issues, it's the title holder that has to deal with the agency or whoever is taking his or her land, back from.
Okay. All right. Well, I have this from King Dave from Ash City. He says, I bought a piece of land with a structure on it, and in doing due diligence, my checks revealed that the land is duly registered in the name of one individual at the Lands Commission, from whom I bought the land. My second checks from the land title register also revealed that the whole area, including the piece I'm buying it from, is registered in the name of an estate agent. Who actually owns the land and who do I transact business with? Well, I'm sure we have to clarify this, but I'm sure the Land Commission will be the best place to sort this out.
Yes, and the person who has the title is the one you deal with, the title holder. Land Commission, like I said, PVLMD, SMD, Land Survey, Mapping Division, then LRD, Land Title. The person whose name is at the LRD is the final owner or the only owner of the land at that moment.
Okay. Well, viewers, I'm sure that your questions are being answered one by one. We have so many of them. I hope that we're able to address all of them before we finally leave here. But the phone line number for you to call in is right there on your screen right now. You can call in and then you can have your questions thrown at us, and we try to answer them as much as possible. There's another question which says that what's the calculated amount to get a 4-bedroom house after the land is bought? I don't know whether you are addressing this particularly to CBC Properties.
Yes,
So,
we build, but
yes.
that question is mostly to a quantity surveyor.
Okay.
I don't like to take people's jobs.
Okay.
I'm just a land broker and a developer.
Okay.
So he should go and talk to, when it comes to us, we'll direct him to our quantity surveyor to do a quantity survey of how much in terms of the build, the cement, everything that goes into how much that house or 4-bedroom house will cost. But that's to also do with his design. It's not just, mentioning a price. Your design also will tell what kind of price that you would.
So you develop as well, and
Yes,
so
we
as
started
you may buy it from you, you can also
Yes.
develop if I decide to
Very
let you do
yes,
that. Okay.
yes, yes.
Anything that should convince me to do it from you, or to rather just buy it from you and go develop with some other, seek help from any other
We
developer?
do not. In fact, for this past 8 years, we've not forced clients to use us. In fact, we didn't go into development until last year. Reason is that we want to be, focused on our core business. Now, those who have come to us to develop are those who have, dealt with us and trust us. And now we've been getting some of these side gigs for a while. We realized that, it's a good business. We are going into that too. Because we are part of Grader, we have the option to also develop. And now we're bringing a lot of, a team together. Like the QS quantity surveyor that I mentioned, there's a builder, all these
Architects,
everybody comes together to have that, structure they are looking for, done.
Okay. Angela, I'm sure this one is for you. He says that I'm actually planning to buy a land in the central region between Kaswa and Winneba. I want to know if CBC have lands in those areas.
Right, okay, so currently we don't have that location, but when you call us, we're able to address it. We're able to find something in that location for you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And this also says, good afternoon, sir. Please, I have been listening to your discussion about the laws on the acquisition of lands, and I need further help in getting a land certificate on my plot of land, a plot of land 1 at Aguna Swedru in the central region. Where can I locate you to bring my documents for you to go through if there's anything lacking in there?
Yes.
Yes.
So the location of our office is in East Legon, Okponglo, Baoleshi, 3rd floor.
Okay.
Our building is GM Plaza. So it's the 3rd floor of GM Plaza, Okponglo, Baoleshi, just off the University of Ghana traffic light road in Legon.
Okay.
Central region, then it's not too far away from us. We can still work on that. The one we cannot work on will be the north and all of that. But even that, we may get some land commission contact who would refer you to somebody who can help you in that jurisdiction.
Okay.
Now, I sit here wearing 2 hats, so sometimes the questions have to...
I know.
So I'm a broker, which means that when you come, like Angela said, when you come to us and we don't even have the land, we can help you acquire from a third party.
Okay.
So we do that as a service, a brokerage service. Then we have lands that we own ourselves. Then that one we sell to you as developers. And so those are the 2 differences of our business. Yeah.
All right. This one says, thank you. I can see all the plots you are offering are for cash. Please, don't you have any kind of installments plan for some of the plots too, Angela?
Well, with CBC, we are customer friendly, so we have installment plan as well. We have outright sale. With the outright sale, what you do is you pay a 50% as an initial deposit. Then we work on your documents for you, that's your indentures. It takes 10 working days for it to be ready. You make your final payment, you receive your document. When it comes to installment plan, we have up to 6 months installment plan. So you make an initial deposit, then the remaining one, we can spread it for 6 months. You decide, you pay either each month, or you wait, you pay in 2 months or 3 months, or you do it in the 6th month. When it comes to organizations and companies as well, we do that, but when it comes to that, we would have to speak to the leaders of the organization. They would have an agreement as in how we would want it to be paid.
The installment plans also would apply to the East Airport Hills plots, right?
Yes.
Don't mind me.
Yes.
Well, this other one says, it's good and refreshing listening to such a highly interesting topic being discussed. With institutions and laws, I don't get this, to mitigate the fraud and criminalities and all these atrocious acts being committed. The laws are beautiful in our books, but on the grounds, what's being done to stop land guardism and that in the country? Well, I think that has been answered to a certain extent. The new law, the amended law, as Mr. Bose put it, which was amended about 2 years ago, criminalizes that act, land guardism. So I think that's clears that. Hi, I'm Albert from Koforidua. Do you have lands available in Koforidua as well? I don't know.
Not at the moment.
Not
but
at the
we
moment.
have. We are also part of Ghana Real Estate Agents, Real Estate Brokers Association.
Okay.
GAREP, and we have agents who deal in certain areas. So, like we said, we are brokers as well. So, if you want a land that we don't have, we can look for someone or a different entity that we trust that can help you acquire that. And also, we would also help you or guide you in making sure that it's a very litigation-free land that you are buying from the third party as well.
Okay. All right. Well, yet to have any calls coming through this afternoon. I'm sure that most of you have decided to go through the WhatsApp route. But Angela, probably you would want to help us again with your contact details, your location, and any other thing else that you'd want to add, so that at least for viewers out there, they would be able to make sure that they have everything correct, and when they're finding you, they wouldn't get lost anyway.
Okay. So with our contact details is 030-935313, and it's 0262-898686. That's our contact details. But you can also check us out on our social media handles. We're on Facebook, we are on LinkedIn, Instagram. You go on Mikasa, you check out for CBC Properties, and also our website, www.cbcghanalimited.ltd.com. Then you can go, you get updated price list, you get our location, and even with that, it gives you the details, the size of the plots, the number we have. You get to see the videos or pictures of the location you're looking out for, so you can reach us out on that as well.
Chris, one thing that really baffles me is what really, I mean, I was listening to Angela give the various prices of the various places. What really affects the pricing of a particular area, of a plot in a particular area? Because some of the prices, you just fold your arms and you say, oh, wow, that's really a big one.
The same with commerce or any other, cash or any area of business is supply and demand. The more people are looking to get that land, the higher the price, because I want to pay 1 cedi for it, you want to pay 1.5. So if I'm the person who is, the owner, I would prefer 1.5, and that becomes the new price.
Okay.
So prices are set by the supply and the demand. So in certain areas, I mean, some people say, well, our lands are expensive. Some also say it's cheap. We will compare the prices. If we sell too low, people think you are selling them a bad deal. If you sell too high, they lose interest. So we have to look at all, and that is why I think this form of digitization will help, because we need a database where, like it's done in the US or any other place, it can give you an idea on average price of a particular area.
Okay.
So that becomes like a threshold for people. But I don't just sit in my house and one day I feel like I want to sell my land for $1 million and that becomes the price. What really goes into it? So this is a discussion we have to be having with the valuers and the Ghana Institute of Surveyors and all of that to get done. But now, location, real estate is location. Location.
Okay.
If you want to have East Legon Hills, you have to get that money to be able to afford that. If you want...
There can't be a cap. I mean...
No.
There can't be any legislation on that.
They can't. But you see, all of it comes to data and the option where people are able to show up or say, okay, we are ready to tell you how much we sold our land for. So usually when you do valuations, we have 3 values: the force value, the sale value, and the market value. So all of this comes to tell how the numbers are being played around on the table. Okay. So that I don't just wake up one day and then I just mention that.
And you figure it all.
Yes.
I'll come back to you so that you give me your final words, and I'll give you the opportunity to do that, Angela, as well. But time now to do our tidbits and find out what really have for you today. And I'm sure that a lot of you have been waiting just to hear this now. For the home construction loan from First National Bank, do you require financial support to build a residential property on your plot of land? Well, speak to First National Bank to help you build to your specifications or complete that housing project you already started. The home construction loan gives you funds to build your property and repay within a maximum period of 20 years. Now, interest rate can be fixed or can be variable. Now, to qualify for a home construction loan, the property must be for residential use. Now, the borrower must provide proof of ownership of the land evidenced by land title certificate, fully registered indenture, or any other document acceptable to First National Bank. You can call us on 0242 435 050 or 0800 770 522 to get started. So those are our tidbits for today. But just before we wrap up, Angela, yes, you are just about to add a little bit to our conversation before we finally wrap up.
Okay, to add up to what my boss said with East Legon Hills, because I get that a lot, I would say proximity. Yes, proximity and access to facilities as well. But when it comes to proximity, for instance, when a foreigner comes into the country, the person will say, okay, I want somewhere that's a bit closer to the airport. That's how come the high-end areas. But someone would say, I don't have that money. So it takes a shorter time to travel from East Legon Hills to the airport than traveling from Dodowa to the airport. Touchwood, if there's to be a war here and the foreigners are trying to run away, they can always access the airports in a very short while. So it's also a factor. To add it up and to sum up, I would always say when you're going to buy a land, check for proper documentation. And there are some locations that pricing are too good to be true. If you tell me you're selling a land in East Legon Hills for East Legon for $20,000, that is not true. It's not a true or a good deal. So you should always make sure the prices are exactly the market value at the time.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. And Majul Enterprise is the pioneer in innovative building and construction materials with over 20 years of experience in Ghana. We supply notable brands like ERA, George Fisher Hakan Plastics, Pesan, Ferrat Plastic, EMS Force, Interplast, Bosch Power Tools, Leo Pumps, and many more. The Majul is also the sole distributor of cast products in Ghana. You can call Majul Enterprise for all your hardware supplies on 0207 672 965 or 0540 573 421. On social media, get them at Majul Enterprise. Locate Majul at Spintex Ecobank at Dogono Road towards the Shell filling station. Now, if you want anything like I'm wearing, Sub-Saharan fashion brand is what